Shalom, beloved. My name is Ms. HiSmith, and I'm so glad you've decided to join me here for the APA Apology Response series. If you are not aware, beloved, back in February of 2021, the American Psychological Association, known as the APA, issued a public apology to communities of color. They acknowledged their role in promoting, perpetuating, and failing to challenge racism, racial discrimination, and human hierarchy in the United States. Today, we begin this important series at paragraph number 17 of the APA's apology. Beloved, let us begin. Where I quote, "Whereas psychologists established, participated in, and disseminated scientific models and approaches rooted in scientific racism when the discipline was first founded." Closed quote. Beloved, when psychology was first established as a discipline, psychologists played a significant role in shaping theories and practices that reinforced racism and racial hierarchies. Let's explore this troubling history. We'll begin with the development of theories and concepts. Early psychologists created theories like racial psychology and racial intelligence, which falsely justified the idea that certain races were superior. These theories were based on biased methodologies that assumed racial differences in intellectual and mental capability. Next is biased testing methods. Psychologists developed intelligence tests that were culturally biased. These tests were used to claim that non-white and immigrant populations were intellectually inferior. Next, we'll move to the Eugenics Movement. Psychology also played a significant role in the Eugenics Movement. This pseudoscience advocated for selective breeding and sterilization policies targeting those deemed, quote, unfit, often based on race and ethnicity. Next, we'll move to dissemination of racist ideas. Academic publications, textbooks, and public speeches spread these ideas, shaping public policies and institutionalizing racism in education, healthcare, and society at large. Next, we'll move forward into institutional support. Psychological institutions promoted and legitimized scientific racism, enabling discriminatory practices against marginalized groups. Beloved, the U.S. government, they funded, promoted, and even enforced many of these discriminatory practices. And here's how they did it: through funding of research. The government financed studies rooted in racism, including intelligence testings and eugenics, to justify public policies. Next, legislation and public policy. Policies like the Immigration Act of 1924 were shaped by psychologists' racist findings, restricting immigration and enforcing forced sterilization laws. Next is the military and educational policies. During World War I, intelligence tests were used to segregate soldiers by race. These biased tests claimed African Americans were less intellectually capable. Similarly, segregated schools and unequal resources were justified using racist psychological theories. Next were public health initiatives. Reproductive policies based on eugenics led to the forced sterilization of thousands, disproportionately targeting communities of color. Next is the collaboration with psychologists. Government agencies collaborated directly with psychologists to embed scientific racism into public policies, legitimizing discrimination. Then we have roots of racist theories in psychology. For it was the foundation of these practices were built on pseudoscientific theories. These theories include the following: phrenology, which is measuring skull shapes to falsely claim racial superiority. Then eugenics, advocating for selective breeding and forced sterilization. Also, IQ testing and racial bias, using culturally biased tests to justify racial hierarchies. Also, race psychology, framing research to portray non-white groups as inferior. Social Darwinism, misapplying Darwin's theories to justify inequality. Craniometry, measuring skulls to falsely assess intelligence. The quote, bell curve hypothesis, which is a modern example rooted in earlier racist ideologies. These practices institutionalize racism in policies, segregating schools, denying opportunities, and marginalizing communities of color. In closing, beloved, this history reminds us of the importance of accountability and action. While psychology has made strides towards inclusivity, we must acknowledge its harmful past to create a better future. So join me in our next episode as we continue unpacking the APA apology and explore the steps needed for healing and restitution. I'm signing off at Pearls of Grace with love, hope, and the resilience of my people. Shalom, beloved, and thank you for being a part of the Free Square movement. Shalom.